No more wheelie bins at the moment, but, you know, there are people masked, as you can see, you know, standing there in front of the riot police, in front of the shields, looking for trouble and biding their time, it looks like. But, yeah, strong number you can't quite see in vision at the moment down the side streets and just in front of the cenotaph.
Yeah, just looking at this, what I think is the flyer that was put out, as you rightly describe it, Charlotte, that's what they put on there, pro-British. It says, bring flags, friends and passion, and then use the word never surrender. I'm not quite sure what throwing wheelie bins at police has to do with that. And while you've been in the town centre, Charlotte, have you heard any of the protesters? Have they been willing to speak to the media, to journalists, and sort of give voice to why they've decided to take to the streets today and why they've decided to, you know, get themselves into this standoff?
Well, it's a bit like Liverpool yesterday, a very similar sort of sentiment. They think there's a two-tier policing system. They think they've been ignored and neglected for too many years. They're wondering, you know, where they see it as a rise in knife crime. They say they want to protect their children, and they are not seeing the authorities supporting them. They say they're being left too long, ignored, their voices are not being heard, and this is how they say their voices will be heard. I mean, they said the voices will be heard through protests, but then it keeps descending into this disorder, doesn't it, and unrest, which is then sort of putting a very negative spin on what they're trying to achieve here. But they've said they're very shaken by those incidents on Monday, those stabbings, and they just don't see anything changing. They don't think that the Prime Minister, the government, is listening to them. They don't think the local authorities are listening to them. And so, you know, this is the way they say their voices are going to be heard. They say the police are too heavy-handed. So this is... Oh, and we've just got a brick coming towards us here now, but we have got our safety equipment on. But, yeah, so the bricks are starting again. But, yeah, that seems to be the sentiment of people, that they are not being listened to, that society is not what it should be, and there is this two-tier system, and they feel like they are forgotten and being neglected. So some bricks now coming in.
Yeah, Charlotte, I mean, you need to stay safe and keep your distance from all of that for those missiles being launched. I suppose at this point we're not able to see whether or not and tell whether or not these people are locals from the area that are on the streets or have come in as we had suspected from some of the other protests. As we can you look at these pictures, they seem to be moving off away from this particular police line. I'm just looking at the Cleveland Police's social media as well. They've declared it as an incident, but I haven't seen anywhere yet, Charlotte, sort of a declaration of Section 34s or Section 60s to give them extra powers to do anything that they might need to do to deal with these people on the streets.
No, we haven't seen that yet. We saw that in Liverpool, didn't we, of course, and in Bristol. So I can't imagine that's too far away. When you touch on that, I think certainly when I've been in Liverpool and Southport, it is some local people are getting involved, but there's definitely the sense of activists coming in and holding these protests, and then you're getting very young people. That's what I've noticed, particularly in these incidents. You know, I don't think we've seen disorder like this for a good 10 years. I remember 10 years ago it was a particular groups who would start this trouble, whether it was at football matches or in city centres. This does feel like a lot of young people are just getting involved. They see it happening and then they just, you know, getting masks on and getting involved. So it's difficult. It seems to be really hitting a point and with local people.